Welcome to Off Market, a look at the Perth property market from the people who are working in the trenches. Join me, Shane Beaumont, Ross Hunter, and a special guest each fortnight as we dissect the latest property news and break down what's really happening in the different pockets of Perth. If you'd rather watch, you can find us on our Facebook page at Crib Creative Perth. Enjoy. Welcome back. We're here with season 3 of Off Market. Gents, can you believe it? We've made it to season 3.
Season 3, mate. Let's feel like Netflix sort of people.
Yeah. Ooh, look out.
It's already been a long year.
Yeah.
It's been a very long year. We're only February still.
Yeah.
I was going to say you're feeling fresh after the holidays, but I know neither of you are, so
Yeah, no. Well,
we'll miss that
It's a
question.
bit of a blur.
Yeah. Just blur.
Now, we're here in the stunning Space Real Estate offices on Napoleon Street in Cottesloe. We are wanting to have a little bit of more of a behind the scenes look at real estate agents this year. So this is our kickoff. Space have been kind enough to host us here today, which we're very, very fortunate
This is the
for.
hood for the day.
This is our hood. Stunning looking offices. Agencies, if there's anyone out there that does want to host a show, please get in touch with us. We would love to come and visit. Huge show today, guys.
Very
It's
big.
huge.
Been told no waffling.
No waffling,
but we'll try
alarms
it.
on the
No rambling.
timer. That's
Have
right.
Mr. Waffle himself, self-proclaimed.
Exactly.
He's
Got to
ready
keep on point, Justin.
ready to keep it on point. We're going to be talking about whether the media headlines are reflecting what's really going on. We're talking about stamp duty. We're talking about the Facebook furor that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And of course, we have our very special guest, Justin Davies, who's going to be joining us very shortly. So let's get
go.
straight into it. Under the Hammer is first up.
Yeah.
Now, before I throw to you guys, Chris and I did a little bit of a road trip last week. We went around to some of the best agents in Perth. It was a long drive, so we only got to a couple. We went to Ray White Davies, Rockingham. We went to the Property Exchange, and we came here and we asked the guys some questions.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to jump to their answers so you can have a look before we come back to you guys.
It's always a good time to buy. The earlier you buy, the better, generally.
Yes.
Definitely.
Certainly.
But if you buy today, you're pretty much at the beginning of the launch pad. So I think it's a good time to buy.
Absolutely fantastic time to buy. Even better time to sell.
There's a lot of buyers out there, so I would say it's a really good time to sell.
Now is a brilliant time to sell. Stock levels are super low, so you're going to get a lot of interest from a lot of buyers on your property.
You have to create competition, so not just go one-on-one.
Always competition.
Presentation and price, hands down, every time.
Just making sure that it's really exposed to the market and not selling a secret.
And to make sure that they're aware of their competition.
But really just making sure that we listen to our clients and that we are putting product into the market that people want.
All right, so you've heard their answers. Here are my questions, and I want quick answers from you guys on these.
I'll try, Jess.
Quick, mate.
Shane, you're first, and then Ross.
Yeah. Right.
Is now a good time to buy?
Yes.
Is now a good time to buy?
Absolutely.
Is it a good time to sell?
If you're buying and selling at the same time, yes.
It's all relative.
So is that the answer to is it a good time to sell or a good time to buy?
I think and I'm trying not to waffle here, Jess, but I think if you're buying property, it should always be seen as a longer term thing. Mm-hmm. Some people are going to get lucky in the next 12 to 18 months, and they already have. People that purchased last year, someone I know very closely, has just made a good little profit. So I think if you're looking longer term, if you're buying now, you're going to be fine. But I think we're going to be pretty strong this year.
Yeah, I think that backs up the saying I heard a long time ago, Jess, don't wait to buy property and wait.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very good.
I think a lot of
Very
people
good.
at the moment, you like that?
Very good.
It's quite good, it's quite profound. But I think a lot of people, the amount of times I hear people saying, I'll wait because it's going to fall, it's going to drop, it's going to this, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? All we know is what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. So it's about if you see something you like it, you can do it, you get into it, and it doesn't matter.
Beautiful.
And I think your personal scenario is a big thing. A lot of people, if you're just moving to the state, you're not sure where your kid's going to go to school, maybe you do want to rent and see what suits you best. But the rental market's obviously going gangbusters, probably cheaper to buy than rent. We've said this so many times. But if you know where you want to be, you're going to be there for a few years, get in there.
Beautiful. Yep. So final question, we're going to keep this one snappy. Sorry, Alana's just falling over.
Come on, Alana.
What is your strategy to ensure your sellers are getting their best result in this market?
You can go, Ross.
Just something, that question was asked as a similar one last year, and my response was about choosing the right agent.
Yes.
It's got so much to do with choosing
And all
a
of our-
competent, well-skilled, well-informed agent will get you the right result.
And pretty much all the agents that we interviewed last week said the same thing.
There you go.
I think whilst people can say, oh, anyone can sell in this market, you're still choosing the person to choose the right process, because I'll be honest, some of the prices, I think Justin probably confirmed this, some of the prices are just blowing the data out the water. So if you have the right process in place, and that's ultimately what you're employing the agent for, they're not a valuer, they're an agent to get the right strategy, put in front of the right amount of people in the shortest amount of time. As long as you're convinced that's happened, you can take it off with good confidence.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on.
I was going to say one of my profound things, and it's not about the price, it's about the process. If you get the process right, the price looks after itself.
Exactly.
Thank you. Ding.
Profound. Preacher Ross is back.
Brothers
That's
and
season
sisters.
3.
Amen.
He hasn't lost it. All right, that leads us very nicely into the real press.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, last year, Shane, on our last episode last year, you basically said the media is all about a headline. So no matter what the market is, they're going to find the thing that's the attention-grabbing thing, the extreme, and they're going to put it out there. So I want to read to you some of the headlines that I've seen this week. Perth rental crisis. Beckingham unit attracts 800 inquiries as vacancy rate plummets to below 1%. Yeah. Perth property market panic buying hits fever pitch with 200 attending single home open. The Australian property market is booming, but the gains are based on massive debts. So,
Do you want to answer the first one?
I'd like you to tell me, is it as difficult out there as what people are saying?
I think for people with good references who have a track history, from what we're seeing, they're getting into properties. Might not be the first time, might not be the second time. I think you'll find that article about the Beckingham situation. I believe it was an NRAS property, which is National Rental Authority. Basically, people that qualify to rent a property, typically 20% under market value because of their financial situation. I believe that might have been a property of that nature.
Right.
They're going to be doing whatever they can to get in those because they know come end of March, rents will rise. We are on the back of I guess it is a bit of a boom, but I say to buyers, the same buyers I was meeting 18 months, 2 years ago, that never called me back when we're following up with them, and now they're sort of stressing. We're still back to 2007 prices in many suburbs. So you can say, yes, it's a boom and things are going nuts, but there's not many places around the country where we're back to 2007 prices. You've got a second chance for many people, and I think, unlike Sydney, where 2007 to now, you've probably missed the boat, people are realising if I'm going to get into Cottesloe, if I'm going to get into Shenton Park, whatever it may be, there's no better opportunity than now.
Ross?
Yeah, look, I concur. You talk about sort of, where the market's going and all those type of things. You look at, I sort of reference places like, you look at New Zealand, because that's had that's increased 90% since 2011. Last week they introduced to try and put the brakes on it, they put a 60% LVR in place over there to try and pump it, right? So you look at Sydney and all the rest of it, and you look at what's happening across Western Australia at the moment. You know, we've said before on the show, in 2005 we had the same medium average price. At some point, everybody's saying it's COVID and this and that. It's probably a unique bubble, but it's that correction that sort of needed to happen. So, and I agree with what Shane said. It's about sort of, there has never been a better opportunity. If you want to progress, you want to move to another area, you've got those aspirational sort of tendencies. Now is the time to do it because it's not a bubble. This is, as we said in the show at Christmas, this is a correction that needed to happen.
Beautiful. I liked what you said earlier, but off camera, that any barbecue you go to at the moment, people are talking property, and that has to be a good sign. So.
Yeah, it is. We've become the most popular people in town. Yeah. No matter where you go, the first question is, what's the market?
Going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? You heard it on Off Market. Come and watch the air and we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, very quickly, before we move on, the real press, obviously, there was a furore about Facebook yesterday that we want to very quickly cover.
Yeah.
Some agents were kind of caught up in that. Some agents have had their pages taken down. Obviously, realestate.com and Domain have been blocked by Facebook. They have majority shareholders or are completely owned by Australia's largest media holding. So that's the reason for that.
Yeah.
Advice, what have you been hearing in the kind of around the place?
I think some of the agents that were probably just sharing the realestate.com listing to REA and not doing anything with that. to Facebook. Well, they've probably got to get up to the times and realise you actually have to put some content on there. So the better agents in that space move very quickly. Well, I don't like to use the word pivot because I'm sick of hearing that, but quickly, it's a horrendous word. But basically just changed to our portal. So I moved mine to Rate My Agent. You could also do it to your own personal website. And people talk about feeding the beast of realestate.com, probably should be doing that anyway, getting them back to your website to try and make familiar. So then if they do miss out on that one, there's an easy option to get in touch with them again.
I mean, we've been saying that for 2 years now.
You have, Jess, but people are lazy until it's broken.
Don't
people
link off-site.
Yes.
Don't link to realestate.com. Link back to your own website.
Or Rewa. We should be using Rewa. Again, Rewa's not owned by Media House. So that's another one. But I think, look, it's obviously a big change, and a lot of businesses, even like some of the emergency services, lost their pages.
It'll get rolled back.
It will get rolled back.
It was a statement. It was a statement by Facebook to the government.
But when these things happen, same as when COVID hit, there's little good things that probably come out of it. 100%. There's some good things that will come out of this.
I think exactly what I was thinking. You said that, Shane. You look at COVID; it's driven all of us to be more conscious of what we buy. Really support local markets and industry and so forth. And I think it's the same. Maybe it's that little thing that's going to just jolt us all to actually be a bit more conscious and actually let's keep it local.
To actually do less best practice.
So maybe we should be big prompt to try and push the Rewa website. Obviously it's a lot cheaper for real estate agents to get their properties on those sort of portals.
And support the industry, support our local.
Beautiful. All right, guys, very good, succinct
Express.
We were warned.
This has been express.
We were warned.
Exactly 5 minutes. Boom, boom.
Wow.
All right, guys, we are rolling on to In the Industry. And I want to touch on this one because this week we've talked about this a few times last year, but there have been further calls from Rewa in the last week or so to reform stamp duty. They've recently conducted a survey where 90% of respondents said stamp duty, I keep sitting like a... 90% of respondents said stamp duty was a significant barrier to home ownership, so they are proposing a two-option system. Homeowners can either opt for one upfront payment or ongoing annual payments. And they're basically calling on both parties to make this part of their election promises coming up.
I think it's a great idea. It's hard for real estate agents to say get rid of stamp duty because everyone thinks we're just trying to push that barrier. But we get a lot of people, I certainly see a lot of downsizers that can't afford to downsize in many circumstances because of that barrier. Rarely come up with that money, especially when the market hasn't been too friendly to a lot of those people over the last few years.
Would it affect prices?
I personally think by removing stamp duty for young professional couples and what have you, I think they'll probably spend the extra 20, 30,000.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my gut feel, to be honest.
People sometimes have their absolute limit. And to be able to have some grace. And I also think it might allow people to trade a bit more, because
that's what it should be.
In and out costs that stop people from selling.
And it creates more of that.
Within a short
you're
time.
right, Justin. It creates more of a churn in the market. See, if you take it, often I refer to New Zealand only because I know that market so well. So over in NZ, there's no stamp duty and there's basically no capital gains tax. So what you find is the churn of the market, exactly what you said, Justin, is young couples in particular, they can get into a house, prepared to a bit of elbow grease, clean it up, fix it up, sort of renovate it, and they can sell. They can actually use real estate as a wealth creation process.
And at the moment, when you've got stock levels that are 2/3 of what they were a year ago, we need something.
You've got to crack the churn.
That article said, did mention, I think, that it would increase transactions. They would predict by up to 50%.
Because also, you look at the flip side of it. The frustrating thing about stamp duty is the government said, yes, it's worth X amount of billions a year. However, if you stimulate the real estate market to create more churn, you think of all the services and trades and all the people involved in that whole transaction. If you bookend a real estate transaction from here to here, from the moment somebody thinks about selling to the moment they move, there is a colossal amount of services that get engaged. What is that going to do as a stimulus for the employment, for labour, for apprenticeships? You keep going. That, I believe, is worth far more than any direct money that comes out of stamp duty for coffers. We're creating a next generation of electricians and plumbers and all sorts of people, and it's just it's a longer term play, but a far more sort of
you look at the building side. It's very good, Ross. The building side of things. If you look at the stimulus that they introduced, we haven't seen the benefits of that. Now, we'd be at crisis point if all this building didn't happen. 2 years ago, I think mentioned about 200 blocks a month selling. The peak of those grants being issued, there was 1,500 blocks selling. The issue is at the moment, the market's so tight, is the people that are building haven't been able to free the market up because they're still in where they were renting. So once they start to be complete, we're going to have a bit of an easy. I'm not saying a huge amount, but it will help. That's a perfect example where stimulus can change the situation we're in, because housing affordability over East, it's obviously a bigger issue. It will start to become an issue again on the back of this growth that we're expecting.
Beautiful. Guys, if you do want any more information about the REWA survey, you can find it on rewa.com.au.
Who was interviewed?
Pardon?
Was it just real estate agents?
No, it was the general public.
That's good.
It was the general public.
That's fair.
I think there was about 7,000 respondents.
Wow.
I can't quite remember. But there is more information online. So, excellent. We are going to roll straight into Hood Highlights, one of our favourite segments of the show. We want to welcome on Justin Davies, director at Space Real Estate. Come on down to the couch, Justin. Join the gents on the couch.
Go on the edge.
Yeah.
Great.
So, Justin, you are a Cottesloe specialist. You've got the highest sale in the suburb in 2018, 2019, 2020. And you obviously are also the director of Space Real Estate who service the whole of the western suburbs. So some may call you an expert in the area. Kick us off, Justin. Where is the Cottesloe market at the moment compared to where it was kind of 6 months ago?
So when Shane said that thing earlier about being back to 2007 levels is something that I was saying to a buyer this morning, right? So they had to pay considerably more than what this property sold for a couple of years ago. But back in 2006, 2007, it was worth more than what they're buying it for today.
I think I know this property.
Yeah, and it's like, for crying out loud, sort of, it feels dramatic, this sort of, prices moving and buyers everywhere. But, to think that we've got to get back to 2007 levels, and then to think that they're not going to move from there, and we're going to have another 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, so we're going to have 20 years of the market not really doing anything, is nuts. So, I'm totally on the same page. It's crazy to think that prices are going to sort of stay where they are now. They're going to keep on keeping on, because to think that we're not going to have the double and the triple that virtually everywhere else in Australia has had, and that we're just going to stay where we are, is crazy.
It's the thermometer or barometer. Like, it's not going to keep going up and down the one spot. It's actually going to move.
No, so it's on. But, the other thing is that in Melbourne and Sydney, you've got so many great suburbs, so many lovely suburbs where people decide that they'd like to try and settle themselves. But in Perth, in this neck of the woods, you've got like a handful of really good suburbs, right? So you've got this limited supply. It's just that for quite a few years, for a number of reasons, people didn't have the money in their pocket, or they weren't earning the what they felt that they needed to be able to step forward. But once that starts to kick back into place, you've got a limited supply around here, and you've got so many people that want to buy in. And then you've got all these people coming back from Melbourne and Sydney and honkers and Singapore and, that have gone away to make their money, that have decided it's probably a good time to come back now,
In terms of, we were talking before the show about development in the area and apartments that are popping up. In terms of the types of properties that are coming on the market and what's hot, what's not, what's happening in Cottesloe?
Oh man, there is no what's hot, what's not. Everything's hot, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what comes on. I had a little apartment that we took to the market last weekend. We had 5 offers within 24, 48 hours. Surprisingly, all of them were from investors, from what you were saying before, that it's cheaper now to buy than what it is to rent. So you can buy a property virtually at any price and know that the rent's going to cover a mortgage.
Definitely.
So that's crazy. I put a new listing on the net the other night, which is at the other end of the spectrum, and the inquiry on that is crazy. So there is no what's hot, what's not. It's sort of across the board. Yeah.
Anything from you guys?
How do you argue that? It's. I think what Justin said is 100% correct. Which we're saying it's sort of to think that we're going to have like 20 years of a sort of a suppressed market is just nuts. And this is it's on that trajectory, and that's where it's going.
I think the people that did take the punt to buy, and I guess right now the confidence has changed. We're confident that we're heading in the right direction as a state. 2 years ago, you just didn't know, and that's probably why you're seeing those. When you look back now, amazing purchase prices. But even as far as November, I think you probably look back to November last year. At the time, some of those prices, you're like, oh, geez. You look at it right now. It was smart and good buying. It was a good buy. It's moved that quickly. So, pretty amazing.
Just quickly, Justin, new development in COP. Is there much happening in that regard?
Are you talking along Marine Parade with the high rises?
Yeah.
Look, the thing is that I'm going to be careful because people feel so bloody passionate about it, right? So if I say, yeah, it's good, I'll have all these people that won't list with me because they feel so passionately about it not happening. But it's on, it's been decided, and there was massive arguments and a whole process years ago, and then Barnett stepped up and just said, no, look, it's happening. It's happening between Eric and Forrest, and that's it. So that's already been decided on. And, there's this recent development that's caused a whole lot of talk recently because they want to go up an extra couple of levels. And people are arguing as if that he's just wanting to build an apartment block where he's not supposed to. He wants an extra couple of levels, and people seem to be losing that as the point of the argument rather than just the development. So whether you like it or not, unfortunately, it was decided years ago that it was going to happen. Look, I don't know. I sort of feel that there's a lot of scrappy old buildings between that section of Eric Street and Forrest Street. And whether you think that they should go 5 levels or 7 levels or 9 levels is up to the individual. But that section of Marine Parade has a lot to be desired when you take a photo and you go to other areas, not only here in WA, but around the country. I mean, there's some pretty scrappy looking buildings along there.
What about in front? Every time, and I keep an eye on the family live near this pocket, and they keep reading about the park that's going, obviously where the car park is.
Yes.
It looks like it's going ahead, and then it seems to go back to council. Is it happening? What's happening there?
Chris, I don't know, mate. You could have told me you were going to ask the question before the camera started rolling. I don't know. I don't
think anyone knows, but that's
no one knows. Look, because you've got this thing where a lot of people feel it's a good idea, and the kids can go down and chill out and be at this place with their friends. And then you've got these other people thinking it's going to bring the riffraff in, and it's going to be a place where kids will get up to no good. So there's these, pretty passionate arguments to and fro, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And if I rang the council now, or if any one of us...
that's the whole thing, isn't
it? They don't know. No one knows.
All right.
Skate park? Is it good?
I thought we were talking about the skate park. Is that what we're talking about?
The one in front of where the cot is, there's that...
Oh, that! No, I don't know about that either.
No one does. So
no one knows about that. Apparently, it's like, yes. Apparently, it's like, yes, it's happening. There is nothing, from my understanding, there's nothing on the near horizon. Yeah. There's nothing on the agenda. And I don't mean 6 months or 12 months. It could be years before that happens, but apparently it is happening.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've got him on the hop now.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to throw it under the hood.
Yeah.
Roscoe.
Yes, mate.
So Justin, now that we've got you, we've got you on the hop, we're going to get a little bit more personal.
Okay.
And this is Roscoe's section, so he's going to ask you
we
these
get
questions.
down and dirty, mate.
I love a little bit of down and dirty.
Not too dirty, but you can go for it. Mate, career, you've obviously had a fantastic career, very successful, very well known. What's the highlight of your career?
Oh, bloody hell.
I did
besides
give you these
this
questions
filming
early.
today.
Yeah, besides this, because,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like, and I've never actually thought about what the highlight of my career has been. I think I've met some fabulous people, and I could maybe think back to experiences with either buyers or sellers, and that would probably be the highlight. I don't think my highlight would be nailing some great result, I think it's just, I've had some wonderful experiences and met some great people. And I met a lovely couple just recently, and I'm selling a place in Mosman Park, Clive Brands, who had the antique store. And he's just a lovely person that I just like. I like being there and I like engaging with him. Highlights, I don't know who, but it would be one of the numerous wonderful people that I've met.
Cool. Have you guys ever made like solid friendships out of a transaction?
No enemies.
Oh, that was.
I haven't made enemies, but I think when you, I don't know if Justin goes and has barbecues and every day, but it's that thing of that, like typically buying a house or selling a house can be a pretty stressful time. It's something you're going to remember. So you see really the real highs and real lows. When you get through it, I think you get to know each other a lot better very quickly. It's probably a good way to put it. So I've got some really good friends.
I think it's about just, I don't know if you make personal friends, it's more about if you bump into someone at a restaurant or somewhere, is that they actually want to come and say hi. And don't want to sort of not acknowledge you.
Or not.
Yes. Yes, right. Next question.
Next question.
Justin, COVID's over, the borders are open, we can play on the planet again.
Yeah.
Bucket list, where's your first, what's the go-to place, mate?
So I'm not very worldly wise and travelled, but every year I would go to Bali with my close friends that were at school together, and we ended up being in different parts of Australia. So we would do that every year, and it was lovely. We'd just get a great villa somewhere, and we would
just chill.
Just fall back into that instant. Great to be with each other, chatting and laughing, and I miss that. I'd like to go back to Bali.
Cool. That sounds pretty damn good.
Be with my friends.
Mate, now this next question, I'm not sure if we should ask it because I don't know if you'll have the time. Mate, if you had to watch Netflix, if you are watching Netflix, what's the go-to for you? Is it a series or a show?
You're going to think I'm a dag, but there's this great show called The Detectorists, right?
Right.
And it's the guy... one of the guys in it was off The Office, the British Office, right?
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais?
No, the guy with the blonde hair. What's his name? Yeah. So anyhow, in this country town, and they go out looking for old, jewels and stuff.
Is it real? Is it real or is it a show?
No, it's a show.
Yeah.
And anyhow, it's just heartwarming and lovely, and you get to really enjoy and love the characters that are in there. And honestly, they're trying to find this treasure.
Called?
The Detectorists.
The Detectorists.
And I saw the last, there was only 3 series. I saw the last one on a plane when I was going to the east. Yeah. And tears coming down my eyes, and I'm crying, and the person next to me is like, what the freak's going on? But not because it was sad, because they just managed to capture the beautiful relationships between the people on this idyllic sunny day. But that's my tip, the Detectorists. But you got to hang in.
Yeah.
Got to hang in there, because it's not super exciting, but you end up
builds.
Yeah,
Okay.
you like the
Beautiful.
Mate, what's your greatest fear?
Dying.
Yeah,
I don't want to die.
I'm not that keen on that myself, I've got to tell you.
Pretty popular.
Cool. Mate, you're a busy guy, you're out there about, you got kids and stuff. How do you decompress? What's your outside of real estate, what's your thing you just...
I don't know. So like if I have the time, I'd love to go to the beach. So if I jump in the water, whether it's if I get my board or whether it's just jumping in the water, it seems to be able to flip my head. And I try, without being all new agey, every morning, and if I feel like I just need to during the day, I just try and center myself and breathe for a moment and let go of all the noise and all the crazy and the maybe the crazy conversations or the way I'm feeling about things, because you get so emotionally charged. So it's going for a swim or just breathing for a minute and trying to let go and reload, you know?
Cool. That'll do.
Yeah.
Like that.
Beautiful.
Like that.
Love it.
Mate, most important question, and this one's probably more designed for the benefit of Shane and myself,
It's very important.
which is a very important question. Go-to restaurant.
Oh, bloody hell.
Besides vans across the road.
Yeah, well, you know.
Good choices,
so,
man.
again, I'm not, you know, don't get out a lot, but I do love Long Chin,
in the
you know,
Treasury.
downstairs
Yeah.
at the Treasury. I love, the food's great, but I love the atmosphere. And there used to be this guy, this DJ there that would be there on a Friday night, and he'd play all these great songs. And he was one of those guys that you didn't even, I didn't know him, but you'd practically like give him a hug every time he rolled up. You know?
Classic.
Because he was just that sort of a person.
Yeah. Sweet.
So
Long
Long
Chin.
Chin's on a Friday night with the DJ going.
Okay, there's no cutlet at Long Chin, by the way, mate.
No,
you okay
no,
with
no.
that?
It's very spicy food, actually.
Okay,
I got
it's
caught
very
out there
good.
once.
Delicious.
There you go, Jess.
Thank you. That was excellent.
Got down, dirty, under the
Favourite
hood.
section. Loved it.
Yeah.
All right, we're nearly done. We are just going to quickly run through a play of the week.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, where we kind of announce something funny or something good that's happened during the week.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything to
Do you,
job
Justin?
in?
You got anything that you've seen around the traps?
Anything you've seen on social media?
I don't know. There was this show called Something in Horses. It was an old UK series.
Only Fools and Horses?
Yeah. So I saw this clip on Facebook, and they're at a bar, and he's trying to with the guy that he's with, because I never watched that show, and they're trying to impress a couple of girls, right? And he's like, it's all about just being really cool, and as he says that, the guy from behind the bar lifts up the bar to walk out.
Yes.
And as he's saying it's all about being really cool, he goes to lean down
bang.
and he disappears down the cellar, and he sort of comes up trying to look really cool, but he's in a serious amount of pain. And if you saw it, it's a lot more funnier than...
It's a good show.
I get to see it
that.
bang.
It's a good
It's
show.
almost a
Love
John
that.
Cleese sort of thing.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There were some awards announced this week.
Yeah.
The ARIA Awards were announced.
Yeah.
Big congratulations to Carlos Len from Acting Out Lawley, who took home Top Agent of the Year in WA.
Wow.
And Cameron Porter from Porter Matthews, who took home Commercial. And then we've got the Rate My Agent Awards next week, which we know is the biggest day on real estate's Instagram. Everyone announcing their local top agent of their suburb.
Yeah, bang, bang, bang everywhere.
It's bigger, if possible, than first day back at school. on
Wow,
social media.
that big.
That is big.
So we'll keep an eye out for that. Shane, are you going to take home that gong this year?
I don't
or?
know. I might be in hospital actually next week. My wife.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Great.
Daddy-o.
That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fantastic.
So maybe you'll be our player of the week for the next show.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or
Maybe
your wife
not.
will be anyway.
Maybe not. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, guys, that is it from
Great.
us
Nice.
this week.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Jeeps.
Thanks for having us,
Fun.
Justin.
Yeah, it was
Thanks
good.
to the guys at Space who have put up with us working away this afternoon. Thanks to Elsie Corby from Ray White, Rockingham, Baldivis, the Property Exchange, and of course the guys at Space for answering all of our questions last week, and we're going to feature a few more of their answers over the coming shows. And of course, thanks to audience for joining us again for season 3.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to it.
Great.
See you next
See you
time.
guys. Bye-bye.